The change in the operating result is because of decreased production, which is primarily from commercial vehicles, and an increase on the expense side as we expanded our presence in Asia. Truck volumes were down in Europe because of the economy, and in the US, the Navistar Big Bore, which is our largest volume commercial vehicle engine program, effectively stopped production in the middle of 2012. Production resumed in January, and we've seen an increase in the production volume on an annualized basis already. V-diesels for passenger cars, strong and growing throughout the year. Our other production for passenger vehicles, exhaust manifolds, which we produce in China, primarily for small cars in Europe, was down in line with the reduction in car sales here in Europe. That volume is rather small, so it really didn't affect the production overall. But as I explained at the AGM, the consumption rate for sampling cups for these small volume parts, 5 kilos each, is about 5 times higher than for engine production. And so that explains a lot of the reduction in the sampling cup shipments for 2012. The decrease in production was partially offset by record installation revenue, and that's our second year in a row with installation records. A lot of what we do is related to installations, commissioning of equipment, training of people, and getting our customers set up for series production. And also technical trials and commercial efforts to bring new foundries into the SinterCast camp. A lot of this work is in Asia, and therefore we expanded our presence last year with a new office in China and a new office in Korea. And the establishment of these offices, plus the technical and commercial resources to support them, resulted in an increase in the expenses of $6.3 million. But that's a strategic investment. We need to be where the growth is, we need to be there before the growth, and we need to be led by local personnel. So the operating result is a combination of a tough year for trucks, a record year for installations, and a strategic expansion in Asia. On a cash flow basis, cash flow from operations was positive, even with the increase on the expense side. We went slightly negative because of investment in new tooling to prepare for higher volumes in the future, and also the dividend. We provided a dividend of $11.9 million in 2012, and that represented 98% of our negative cash flow. So for the board and for the management, if the reason to go negative on cash flow is because of investment in new tooling and expansion of our resources and a dividend, and we're okay with that. That's all according to the plan. SinterCast cash flow is always linked to order timing, and in 2012, our biggest installation of the year in Mexico was announced on the 29th of October. So that appeared in full in 2012 P&L, but most of the cash flow will be realized in 2013. The equipment is in transit, the installation is scheduled for March, and the cash flow is secure. So with the confidence from the secure cash flow, which as I say was derived in 2012, a positive outlook for new installations and series production, and strong liquidity, and the board's consistent position that the company will serve as a funnel to transfer excess funds to the shareholders, the board decided to propose the dividend of £1 per share in a holistic way, based on the whole picture, and not just on the year-end cash flow result. Well, we had a record year for installations in 2011 with 6 new installations. We had a record year again in 2012 with revenue of $9 million. And now we've had a good start to 2013 with a new series production installation for a commercial vehicle manufacturer here in Europe that we announced on 11 February. And that will help the recovery and growth in the commercial vehicle volumes. In 2012, 2 of our 3 installations were in Asia, and that brings the total to 10 of our 33 installations in Asia. But more importantly, it's 10 of our last 20 in Asia, and that reinforces the need for the expanded presence in Korea and in China. The development intensity for CGI is clearly increasing. We see that with the new commercial vehicle installation. We see it with the first ever high volume petrol engine, which is scheduled for start of production this year, and more recently with the new diesel commitments in America for Chrysler and Audi. And it's this product development and this production planning from the OEM that drives our positive installation outlook. There isn't any alternative. When the OEM specifies CGI, the foundries have to get ready. The current series production of 1.2 million engine equivalents represents a year-on-year decrease of 25%, but that's compared to our peak at the end of 2011 and the beginning of 2012. It's interesting to note that the 1.2 million also represents a 25% compounded annual growth rate over the last 5 years. The production, as I said before, is strongly linked to the commercial vehicle volumes. In 2011, our production split was 50% car, 40% truck, and 10% other components. And in 2012, that changed to 65% car, 25% truck, and 10% others. So you can really see the impact of the commercial vehicles. As we said previously, the Navistar volume restarted in January. Showroom sales will begin in March. So we have to wait until the third or the fourth quarter before we can see the steady state run rate for that program. But it's definitely going to be a lot more than the second half of 2012, and that gives incremental volumes. In Europe, the outlook for trucks is flat. So realistically, we need to look forward to new programs coming on stream in order to grow the European commercial vehicle volumes. And our 11 February installation provides a good opportunity for growth there. Overall, we're very positive for trucks, both for growth in 2013 and in the long term. It's a huge market, there's a clear technical need, and our technology is proven in 15 successful engines running on the roads. So longer term, trucks will be our biggest application. There's also room for growth in the V-diesel sector, with Audi announcing that they'll bring the A6, A7, A8, and Q5s to North America with our diesel engines, and Chrysler recently announcing the VM Motori 3-liter V6 diesel for the Jeep Grand Cherokee and the Ram pickup. So there's a lot of growth left in the current programs. They can absolutely make it back to the 1.6 million peak that we had at the beginning of this year, and as we said at the AGM last May, they can reach the full mature potential of more than 2 million engine equivalents. Well, our largest volume product, the Ford 6.7-liter V8, is used in Super Duty pickups in the US. And now Chrysler has thrown down the challenge in the US in the SUV sector with the Jeep Grand Cherokee and in the light-duty pickup sector with the Ram 1500. SUVs sold very well in 2012. The class that the Grand Cherokee fits in was up 21%. And pickups, well, pickups are the highest volume vehicles in America and the most profitable. So everybody fights for market share there. In general, when vehicles are made available in North America with diesel options, the diesel take rate for cars is 30% and for trucks more than 60%. And now the V6 that Chrysler will be installing in Jeep and Ram, it has 30% better fuel economy and 62% higher torque than the petrol engine alternative. So it's a really compelling story. But of course the sales will also depend on the pricing. But what's clear in America is that anyone who wants a diesel will also need to buy a Chrysler. And that's a fascinating challenge in Detroit. It's an exciting time for SinterCast in the US. 2012 was the biggest year for new car sales since 2007, finishing with 14.4 million units, and it's forecast to grow back to 17 million in 2016 or 17. Our V8 is running strong, the Navistar is restarting, we have these diesel commitments from Audi and Chrysler with Jeep and Ram, and we have other products in the pipeline. So we've always referred to America as the critical American market. And now this market is on the verge of becoming our largest end user, and it looks set to stay that way for quite some time.